Welcome to the Daily Apple. I'm your host, Kevin White. My occasional co-host, Emery, and I will dive into all topics related to the science of longevity, along with some other subjects we just find of interest, with the hopes to provide useful information for everyone. This stems from my personal interest to optimize the human condition, to not just live longer, but to live better. Hello, everyone. In this session, I sit down with Heather Emery. I've known Heather for many years, and she's always fun to talk to. She is the co-host of Joey and Heather in the Morning. If you listen to the radio here locally, she swings by and does her DEXA scan, and we get to visit after that's completed and kind of the value of that for her. And she gets to pummel me with a bunch of other questions as well. So it's a fun conversation. Hope you enjoy it as much as I did. And without further delay, enjoy my conversation with Heather. All right. That's probably not sound as good as you are used to.
No, this is trash.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm just kidding. No, I don't want to wear them, but they don't sound bad. It just feels too official.
Well, anyway, yeah, we're recording. It's good to see you.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I'm a little offended you've been doing a podcast this long and you haven't asked me to attend before now and that this is what it's taken, but I'm happy to be here.
Well, yeah. Well, thanks for coming in today. I know you got a big day. You've been up since when? Like 4? You get up at like some ungodly hour.
And yeah, no, I actually, I got up at like 5:15-ish and then get to work 6:15-ish.
So you're sleeping in now. I thought you were getting up a lot earlier.
I used to get up and go to the gym until I realized that I don't really have to do that. And it didn't really make sense to keep doing it once you realize like I've got pretty much expendable hours every afternoon to get it done. So I go later now.
You know what I hate? I like a lot of things about getting older because you give yourself a lot of leeway. You don't really care about stuff, but you don't care about all, the stuff that doesn't matter. But one thing I hate is that you can't sleep in anymore. Like on your days off, can you sleep in?
No, like maybe I can make it till about 6:45 and do like a light toss and turn till about 8. And then that's it. I'm cooked.
Okay, well, cool. Well, thanks for coming in. And we did your DEXA today.
We did. So just like a little bit of backstory, I started texting you because what were you talking about? Creatine. Because I'm 47 and I hope that that's obvious. But if it's not, yes, I am female. So yeah, everybody's like, you got to take creatine. And I do lift weights several days a week. But now I hear about like it's great for perimenopause and going through menopause and how it's good for brain function and sleeping and even night sweats and stuff. So I started taking it, but then immediately gained like, 7 pounds, 6-7 pounds, like in 2 weeks and just felt bloated. And I talked to my trainer and he said, yeah, that's normal, but that's going to flush out. And it didn't.
How long were you taking it?
I took it for probably about 6 weeks.
And I looked through, since you texted me all that, questions and stuff, and it was like really long and she was getting it. I thought, we got to have a conversation. But I couldn't find anything. There was a lot of discussion about that, but as far as doing a literature search on that kind of stuff, I didn't see anything like that.
About water retention?
Yeah, and if there was, it was minimal, and like your trainer said, it would flush out. So I don't know, were you hydrating really well? I assume you were doing all that stuff.
I mean, I think so. I thought that was kind of just like how it worked. Like the premise of it is that it makes your muscles soak up extra water, right? But then I knew that like all of that water wasn't soaked into my little tiny muscles, so that it had to be like holding on other places. And so I don't know. But then, the second I stopped taking it,
went away.
Yeah.
Weird. 5 grams a day? Is that, or you were probably taking the little...
I was using powder for a while and then I switched to the pills and I didn't take quite as many as I was supposed to. So yeah, I think I was right at about between 3 and 5.
Were you taking powder most of the time?
For the first half, and then for the second half, probably pills, capsules. The one that all of the fitness chicks talk about on Instagram that you can order on Amazon.
Was it really fine? Really fine?
The powder was, yes.
Okay.
And then the capsules were just like regular sized. And then you were supposed to take 3 a day.
So, yeah. I mean, I love this stuff. And the research around it with the cognition and everything, great, which, we talked about before. But, I didn't see that much. I mean, I tried to find something, but that's weird that it's gone off and on. And you talked about another girl that had the same kind of problem.
Yeah. She said she's a runner. She like runs miles a day. And she felt like she's also about my age, a little younger. But she said that she would be running And she felt like she could feel sloshing in her legs and in her muscles and in her body. She said she felt like she could almost hear it. I know that sounds crazy, but I mean, I kind of believe her just based on what I felt like I went through. I will say I do feel like I felt a lot stronger.
Yeah.
I was getting those gains, but it wasn't worth the trade-off for me.
Yeah. You should cycle back. I need to give you some. I'll give you some that I like to use.
You probably got the good stuff, right?
Oh, yeah.
Not the Amazon swag.
No, you don't know what's in that.
That's true.
But
that is true.
So we were just on vacation. We were talking about before, and we had I took a little to-go thing, and I just didn't have a mixer, and we just had our water. And so Kim was over there, and I was like getting it and trying to hide it because it's like, it looks like we're doing lines of Coke over here by the squat machine after a workout. But no, yeah. Anyway,
so you were just mixing it with water?
Well, we were just taking it and throwing it in our mouth and chugging a bunch of water.
Oh, that's ridiculous and hardcore. That's super hardcore. They do that with pre-workout. Have you ever seen that?
Well, I don't really.
People scoop it like all dry and then just chase it with a
retarded.
Red Bull.
I'm not into some of that pre-workout. That's like AFib. It's just a nonsense. Just have a cup of coffee.
Yeah. I found one that has BCAAs in it that is naturally caffeinated that I actually drink in the morning on my way to work because I don't drink coffee or anything. And I swear it does more for me than like soda or tea or anything.
Yeah.
That's good.
Well, so today we did the DEXA scan. Did you feel nervous? You were pretty cool about it. You weren't nervous about it at all. It wasn't a big deal.
I was a little nervous. I'm glad Michelle came in. Anytime that there's stuff that involves like weight and fat and all that stuff, especially as a girl, like it's just,
vulnerable.
It is vulnerable.
Yeah.
And I really feel like, and I'm probably going to regret saying this, but I feel like in the last couple of years that I've really prioritized some things that have kind of changed my health. Like I try to walk a couple miles a day.
Yeah.
I've got that stupid Peloton bike. I just always say stupid Peloton. I don't know why. Lift weights a couple days a week. I've been prioritizing sleep, which I never have before. So I am curious to see and to hopefully use this info as like a launchy pad. Just a launch pad, not launchy. Yeah. Yeah. So we'll see.
Well, cool. Well, we won't talk numbers.
You can. I don't care.
No, I'm going to leave out the numbers. I'll blank it out.
Okay. Well, just give me like a.
I'll verb it with my mouth,
or just say good, or this needs some work.
Yeah, and dude, we can talk about this later. I mean, it's fine. But so, I mean, it's basically 3 to 4 pages of data.
So for anybody that wants to know the information, because I'm going to probably try to tell all of our listeners too, because a lot of women I know that listen to our show are on the same type of journey. What can you find in a DEXA scan, and like how is it beneficial to know that data?
Right. So I just got an email this morning from one of my patients we've got her on some peptides and some other treatments, but she's losing weight at a really slow rate, but she's been working out. She feels stronger. Her clothes are fitting looser, which makes her happy. And her body composition is changing. And this is so much better. It's the gold standard of body composition, much better than a scale. Because women can, or men, anybody can work out and do things and they gain some lean muscle. And the scale doesn't really give them that affirmation that they're doing good things. And so this is the gold standard of body composition, body fat percentage, visceral adiposity, and looks at bone mineral density. And I tell people this all the time, if I have 2 things I care about the most, everyone immediately goes to what's my body fat composition. Metabolically, for health reasons, I really care about the visceral adiposity and the bone mineral density, those 2 things.
Is visceral the one that's in like around your organs and stuff like that?
I mean, you hear the term skinny fat. So we've seen, guys and girls too. I mean, but where a guy might look pretty good in a suit or something, but he's got a bit of a belly. And if he's got 5 to 6 pounds of visceral fat, which we've seen, that's a huge deal metabolically. So you got to watch that and get that under control. So we like it under 2 pounds. 2 pounds or under is what we really shoot for.
Is it more common in men?
We've seen it in our patient population more common in men.
Interesting.
But it's just an inflammatory mess all over. It makes your T cells act a little bit different. So it's a contributing factor to, vascular disease and all the other things that are going to end your life.
Well, tell me. I don't know. Make me wait. What does it say?
Okay, so yours is, and I can't. We should have gone over this before we pressed record. I don't.
We should have. I mean, I might pause on some of it, but
Okay.
I'm curious what it says for that part. And if it's bad, I'm leaving. So thanks for having me. It was good to see you. Thanks, Michelle, for coming.
So your visceral looks good.
Okay.
That's good.
That's not great. That's what you just said.
It's great. It's within what we talked about, and with everything else that comes down whenever we do different things. So there's that, and then the cool thing about like this particular page, all these things it's just a reference point.
So it's just pages of different information.
Yeah, and some of it's the same stuff and presented in different ways. And I'm a real big fan of graphs and pictures because I'm a picture kind of person. Visual
You're a
learner.
Doctor. Aren't you supposed to be like all about graphs?
Well, I like cartoons and picture, So this is, total mass, fat mass, and lean mass. So you can see this change as you do different behavioral changes. So,
yeah. Okay.
So that's just doesn't mean a lot here for you right now, but like if you were to have one done in another 3, 4, 6 months or whatever, you can see the changes. So that's really reassuring and cool to see that if you're doing a plan with somebody and you're doing some tweaks, then you can see, hey, it's working, or hey, we need to pivot and do something else.
Yeah.
So you're not wasting time.
Yeah,
You know
it's
what I mean?
helpful information to have.
This is you. This is your body fat composition. We can talk about that later. Pretty good. I like women to, we shoot for around 25, a little bit less than 30%, 25%.
That picture, that outline is
I know.
so bad. It's so bad. It's like the outline of your squished, fat, flabbiest part of your body. It's the worst.
It's not. It's great.
No, it's not great. And
We're
I'm
not
taking
gonna
it
sit
with
there.
me when I leave.
This
You're
is
not
yours.
showing it to anyone.
No.
Don't show Kim.
No.
I'm just kidding. She would laugh. She would be like, oh my gosh, that's pathetic.
She's going to be jealous that she's not here. And this is kind of cool, resting metabolic rate. So we actually do this with our VO2 max, and we can do resting metabolic rate where you just basically sit there and you breathe in a mask for a while. And,
I saw that.
And you can, so as opposed to getting on the bike or the treadmill and doing a VO2 max, you can just sit there with the mask on, and it'll tell you your resting metabolic rate. So it'll show how many calories you burn doing nothing, just being a human, right? So you can't have coffee, you can't work out before then. So people have to come in uncaffeinated, not work out, just kind of be chill, and then that's kind of cool to see. So yours is pretty average that you'd expect. So, 1,386. So the more muscle mass you put on and things you can do, that raises your resting metabolic rate. Right. So
is that also the same test that determines whether your body uses more like carbs or whether you're burning fat, or that's more of like the workout version of it? Is that right?
So when we do the VO2 max, it not only shows you how efficient you're utilizing oxygen, which is a real reflection of your overall health. That declines as we age. If you're going to be, enjoying yourself when you're 80, and you kind of got to have one, you want one above 20.
Yeah.
Really, if you can. And you're more resilient against things like a pandemic and stuff like that. If you got a crappy VO2 max, you don't have a lot of resilience. So your original question was fuel partitioning, though. Fat, all that stuff. So when we do VO2 max, what people will do is they start at a really low effort. So like on the bike, we use the Peloton for that one. So people are pedaling against air for the first minute. And as we progress, you increase the resistance at intervals, just very slowly. And it shows by the test that, where you're utilizing fats, where you're utilizing carbs and all that kind of stuff.
That's so interesting.
So you can do that and say, okay, at this heart rate, it kind of helps you kind of circumvent the system, right? It's kind of like you're cheating, but, and so we can say, hey, if I get my heart rate at 104, I'm burning the most fat ever. That's
what I want to know.
That's my
Kevin.
sweet spot.
Yeah. And then we turn on Netflix and we watch the new Menendez brothers documentary and we just get it done.
That's creepy. But yeah, so that's you right there. And this is, bone mineral density. So we look at the Z score. And so that's kind of like a bell-shaped curve. So if you're 0, you're at the 50th percentile. And if it's higher than that, you go up to the 75th, 80th percentile, whatever. And you're at 1.5, which is great. So it's just an overall view. If you're really dialing down, you want to do like hips and spine. Because that's where the biggest problem areas are. But I've seen people.
Can you spot train bone density?
That's a good question. I don't think so.
Think that you could.
No, but I've been surprised on this. You know,
so you're saying I got weak hips?
No.
Let's carry around this junk in the trunk.
Your Z-score is fantastic. I mean, this is good. But I've been surprised. Like on some people, it's like some people have been osteopenic. Like they're not lifting, or their diets, or they're eating garbage. And that's a reflection of that over time. So it's good stuff to know when you're in your 40s, because then you can kind of act on it and do something about it.
Yeah, for sure. That is interesting to know. Hey, I've been seeing all these Instagram videos that say, obviously I follow all these stupid Instagram people, but they are saying that if you should be able to carry 75% of your weight in your hands, like grip strength, for a minute. Mm-hmm. And that if you can do it for a minute, that pretty much will determine the amount of that you'll still be able to open jars in your 80s or 90s or 80s probably. Do you think that's true?
Yeah, there's a lot of data around grip strength being a proxy for good aging and all that stuff. Like we do that true diagnostic test. It actually gauges your grip strength. I don't know how it does it from your DNA, but in your methylation anyway, blah blah blah. But yeah, do I think that's true? Yeah. Do I think that's important? Huge. Yeah.
I want to try it. It just shows like these girls walking around with these giant dumbbells, and they're just trying to hold on to them for a minute and just walk around. But it's hard. Like grip strength, I think is important and underrated maybe. Like you don't really consider that being a factor. But you want to be able to open some pickles when you're old. Oh man, get me out of here.
All right. Well, cool. Well, any other questions or anything what else do we got to talk about? This has been great. Anything else you want to say?
No. Like I'm right smack dab in the middle of all of the stuff that happens, I think, in your late 40s. And so like how you can circumvent some of the things that are coming, and how you can like try to get ahead of things like fitness and muscle loss and cognitive function and all of those kinds of things, I think are so important. And I know from I think Dr. Kale that comes on with us, Dr. Mindy, on Wednesdays and answers questions. Yeah. And like we let listeners ask questions, and I would say a third of them easily are about weight loss and health and fitness and what should I eat and what about intermittent fasting. And so, I could just sit here probably and pick your brain for hours just about those subjects because I have so many questions about it. So this is really helpful, I think, in a great starting place. And I'll come back anytime if you want. I'll provide some subject for you.
I love it. It's kind of like a celebrity guest.
Stop. Michelle is here. Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Mindy's great. Isn't she great?
She's great. She's been coming on the show with us for so long. And she's got her YouTube channel now. And she does her little news segment. So, she's awesome.
She's a stud. All right. Well, cool. Well, thanks for coming in for this. I know you got a big day. So
thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I want to come see your sauna. I want to do one from the sauna. If it's your equipment that's going to blow up.
Come on over. Yeah.
Yeah, because I can't be good for the mics. But I think that's so interesting. And I bet yours is a lot nicer than mine. But I don't want to wear a funny hat and like get swatted with palm leaves or anything like they do in
you're
Norway.
Wearing the funny hat. We'll beat you with a stick, but we've got the hats. Well, cool. Well, you're a stud. Thanks for coming by.
Hey, thanks.
Good to be with you guys.
I appreciate it.
All right. Bye.
Thanks for listening. You can follow us on Apple and Spotify, and please review us to let us know what you think.